Hey guys, Coach Hug here. Here we are with another chess structures lesson. I know you guys were supposed to have practice Thursday and Friday, and you guys, I will be there tomorrow, but Friday, you guys have school off. So for today is a video practice for London again, and here I think we have a nice game. And I think I've seen in multiple of you guys' tournament games, you guys have gone against the Jabava London, which is kind of like a setup where we're trying to go g4, h4. We're trying to do knight c3, bishop f4. At least this is how kind of the middle game may look. But yeah, let's get into it, and I think you guys will enjoy. We just have the eval bar up, and yeah, here we go. They start with d4. We go knight f6. They go bishop f4. And what I mean by that is this can always, every game we go through could always be a game of mine or a game of your guys's. I always kind of surprise it, or a game of just a student I've seen. And yeah, we always try to say that we're playing either from white or black. We're going to say we're going to be playing for black, and they're playing from white. Because we're always trying to go against London, because I know you guys said you've had trouble going against it. And if you ever want to employ the London, you can always employ methods like this, or black. We go e6, they go e3, we go d5, they go knight c3. Again, this is a common London idea, and we've seen in past lessons, knight a6, maybe even a c6 early, and ideas like this. Bishop d6, countering this bishop, bishop d3, c5, and they take. It's kind of an interesting take. We could take back, or we could even take this way. And I think in the game, this is the best move, is taking here. And what's fun is, even though they are up a pawn, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And even though that they're up a pawn, it's pretty equal, because one of these pawns will probably be stolen, right? And it's very hard to protect them, or maybe you can, right? But no matter what, it's very easy for black to gain pressure against both of them. And after we castle, they go queen d2, basically saying, hey, we may queenside castle, we may not. Yeah, we'll see. They go, we go knight d7. And this is actually a pause moment. White, let's say white can go, let's say you guys have your packet, and white can either go knight a4, so here, or they can go castle, right? These are either of the moves, and one of them does happen in the game, but I want you guys to understand why one of them could be a mistake and why one isn't. I can see the the eval showed a little bit for that, but yeah, we'll pause and either knight a4 or castle, and either one of these moves is a mistake or a blunder, or mistake slash blunder, and one of them is the best move. And it's kind of interesting, really. Basically, one of them does protect the pawn, while one of them castles. It's kind of saying, can we castle in this position and ignore losing this pawn? Or is it actually vitally important to save this pawn? So I will pause and have you guys look at either of those moves. Unpause. So yeah, let's go through both. Let's go through both. Let's say they castle, right? Let's say after knight d7 they castle. They take. One thing to consider is this is a very powerful bishop usually in these structures. We would basically allow them to do that, but we can also argue that we've castled, right? We've castled, we're going to develop here, we're going to connect rooks. We don't care that they've given up their pawn. They're struggling to develop with their bishop. We have a good game, right? But after 92, they would take, and we've lost a strong bishop. So that's one huge thing to consider. And even though we've castled queen, saying we're going to push these pawns, black doesn't have as much problems as maybe the other line. If we go through knight a4, they can't really attack this bishop now. And let's say they do a move like queen c7 to apply pressure. They can actually give us the pawn now, right? And let's say we go knight e2, and they take. Basically, they're saying that they actually would rather castle king, and arguably it is structure. This is a common theme, and I thought this was a very good puzzle. It's a common theme to sometimes have either this pawn doubled or these set of pawns doubled, like hx, and it's weird because you have this open rook, or you have this maybe idea of pushing pawns on the king side, but you're not actually castling queen. Not saying castling queen sometimes doesn't work, but in this structure it actually makes more sense to castle king. And that's why castling queen was maybe a little bit too fast of showing where you are laying your most vital piece. And even though you were always going to give up this pawn, losing this bishop in the process for the knight is maybe arguably just not the right way to play this position. And castling queen king would have been better. But the game continues, and we castle queen, or they castle queen. We go knight x c5, and let's continue off. Go knight f3, again trying to get these plans in and trying to develop as much as possible. We go queen c7, and we could have taken here. It doesn't really hurt. And let's put back on eval. Let's say we didn't go queen c7. This is just as fine. It says maybe not, because I guess queen x, and maybe it's like a little much, and you see no pressure. 2, with this, you're saying, hey, I'm going to do it eventually, and I'm still developing a little bit faster. So it does kind of make sense. But this threat is always there. This threat of just taking this bishop and saying, hey, what are you really doing? And you're never really going to play bishop e2. It just seems too passive. It just doesn't seem like there's really... You're also blocking rook he1 from ever being played. So you always have the threat of knight x d3, but you never need to take it right away. So after queen c7, knight e5, having a nice outpost, b6, trying to develop this bishop. G4, a nice attack on this king side, and really black is, we're always scared of G5. We're always anticipating that. After bishop B7, they go rook G1, and we go knight E4. This isn't the best move because of the continuation, and we can basically look at maybe other moves to look at. There's knight FD7, there's knight XD3 again, and there's one move that I thought was kind of interesting, rook AC8, and we're going to go into that a little bit later. But basically, we go rook G1, knight C4, and now we know that basically better moves would have been rook AC8. It would have made more sense. Put pressure on the C2 pawn, knight D7, put pressure on this E5 pawn and knight, and these lines would have made maybe a little bit more sense than knight C4. I kind of just wanted to see if I can throw my knight on E4, and I thought the trades maybe favored me. I thought I would have a nice outpost, and yeah, so they don't take, which is what they should do. They should take. They should go knight x e4, and after pawn x, I'm pretty sure it's just, I think it's just g5, right? Yeah, and they have a good game. If they ever go knight a, we can always, so if they go knight a4, we can always go bishop e2, and this is a nice game. For white, we have a lot of pressure against the king. Their knight's kind of awkwardly placed, and we're attacking it, and I think white would be maybe slightly better, or it'd be at least a little easier to play as white. But instead, they go queen e3, and we go knight x e3. Now, in the game, white took, and I want you guys to know why queen x may be, a win of a pawn. But is there a way that white can punish black winning a pawn? So, pause the game. Alright. The move is bishop take h7, and this is always a fun tactic that you always got to look out for. And white set this nice little trap, no matter what black takes with. So if they take with the knight, win the queen. If they take with the king, you still win the queen. And lastly, if they don't take, you still win the queen. So this is a nice discovered attack, winning the queen, and why black does not take the pawn on c3, but you always got to look out for that, and that is very insightful. Now let's go to the other two helpful puzzles. Instead, we went knight e4, and again, this isn't maybe the most correct move to play. I actually really wanted to go over this again. Not a pause moment, but more insightful. Rook a c8 is just more more right with this position. It makes more sense. So you're attacking c2. Your thought process is you're developing, right? And I think partly in the game, I think black was worried about g5, and it kind of makes sense. I'm saying, yeah, we're black. We're kind of worried about g5, right? And the idea is knight d7 does lose. Knight d7 does lose, and the reason why is great gift. And I know all of you guys know these ideas. If they take with the queen or the king, we would go queen h7. They would go here, and I think it's g3. The idea is they can't take the knight because we promote, or we checkmate. And instead, if they somewhat take, I'm pretty sure we can go knight take. No, okay, we have to be careful because of... Oh, no, yeah, obviously, it's queen take here, and I know we have seen this kind of mating pattern before. We're attacking this beautifully, and if we go rook g, there's no way for them to actually stop here. And if you're wondering if they can go knight f6, we go here, they go here, and now there's nothing they could stop this way. Actually, is there not? Okay, and then not go king over... No, yeah, they can't. You still just have queen. You'd be completely winning. And I'm trying to think of any other defense, because they're saying there actually is a faster way to mate than... there's a faster way to mate from here. I think it's helpful to look. Rook d3. So apparently this is faster than rook g3. It's very interesting to see why. What's their way to stop this? Queen x c3. Okay. Knight x g6. But if I do rook and then they do queen, we can do rook x? Can we not do rook x if they do it like this? Okay, we guess we have knight x f8, but if we go this way and they do queen x, we do rook x, we have queen x, and we're threatening mate here because this rook is actually more valuable here. And if we do rook d3, we still have the rook on this. Okay, wow. Very convoluted, not one of the puzzles, but that is one way to look at it. And a thematic sacrifice, I think we've talked about this before, is we have combination sacrifices where we kind of see it through. We see every move. We kind of calculate a win automatically, right? Thematic is kind of more, we know that it would open up the king. The most common one is really Greek gift. Sometimes you don't calculate everything in a Greek gift, but you know that this bishop move will work. So this is why g5... if rook a c8, g5, knight d7, we know the loss there. But instead, what we need to know is we have knight a4. And even though that this looks very scary, it is not. If we try to attack it, we can always go g6. Or, no, I guess in this scenario, we go f6. And if they take here, we would take the knight. But if they wouldn't go bishop e2, because another possibility is like queen h3, we have g6 here. And this is a very nice lock onto the position, and black would be better. But yeah, this is one way to look at it, and let's go deeper in the game. We go knight e4, and yes, basically, black plays a bad move with knight e4. They have rook a c8, and we're not worried about g5. A way to punish this is bishop x take, pawn take, and then rook d7, and really black is getting kind of suffocated here. White is still really trying to push and have all the pressure in the world here, and white is just better. So taking is actually the better way to take, but instead of taking, they go c4. And here is another pause moment. What is the best move for black? And yeah. Dun, 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 unpause. The best position is, because we know that bishop takes here, we consider why c4 could be weak, and we could be threatening that right now, right? What is the move that basically stops all those things from happening, right? What stops white being able to do this now? Well, black has f6, and why this is the best move is it kicks away the knight, and it does not have many squares. If we try to do like bishop x now, they would take, and really we're hitting twice, and we're hitting this pawn too. They can't take here, right? Because then we would take here. They can't take here because we take here, and I'm trying to think if they can do pawn here. I'm pretty sure we just do this and, or no, what do we do here? Queen c4, wow. Queen c4. So here, queen c4. Basically saying if they take the pawn, we would be able to win this way. But yeah, it would continue off this, and black would be slightly better. But instead, I think there must be a cleaner line if we go a little bit in, because I thought I looked at, if they did bishop x. They did bishop x. We don't actually go fx e5, we go dx, and this is still attacked. And where is this knight going? He can't go here, can't go here, and there's literally no square for the knight. If we go rook d7, I think we go queen c8, and we're still hitting this. They go f5, we still take. And this is a very good position for black. But let us continue. They went knight f3, and black did queen c7, which is an okay move. Queen e7, I mean, and then now they take. And now this is a little bit different. Basically, this pawn is now stronger in a lot of lines because knight e5 isn't there, rook d7 isn't there. So now white goes knight d4, black goes rook d8, white goes h4, kind of trying to attack here on the king side. Black goes rook a c8, white goes f5. It's kind of a nice move. It's basically saying I am going to get knight f5 in no matter what. So we kind of have to find counterplay, and black finds it. Rook takes c4, allows the knight take on e6, and black has to be a little bit careful here. They find the right move. They go rook dc8. They're applying pressure. White goes rook b3, and then black goes rook c3, and then basically attacking the queen. There are some nuances here, but I think basically this is the coolest and most educational, informational like move to find. After rook c3, they go rook d8, and you have to be very careful as black here. You have to be very careful. There's only one move that holds it, so I'm going to say pause. Only one move to hold it for black. Okay, unpause. So basically the move is you have to consider rook take here, or you have to take queen take. Let's go through why one move wouldn't work. Let's say we did rook take, right? And we can see with the analysis, the eval gives it a lot worse, right? They can now do queen take c3. This rook is really struggling, and after rook c8, queen b3, they still have all this pressure against this diagonal. If we do queen x, which is a better move, it's different. Now if they do queen take, we can now do rook take. And what's beautiful is, yes, all the material is equal here. Black just has such a better position. The queen and the knight battery isn't there, right? We actually have a lot of moves we can do here. It says like d5, c8. After rook d1, though, we have this nice move, which is rook c5, and this knight is just really suffering. And after knight e6, bishop take, fx, black can just do this, and it's a very hard game to play for white. We could play on maybe a little bit longer here, but really, basically, it's just really hard to play as black here, or as white here. Comparable to if we go all the way back, white, or I mean, black would have to suffer with go all the way through here. If we go rook a c8, queen x, white is still white still has a lot of play along this diagonal. When we do queen x, we kind of just stifle everything. And if they do queen x c3, actually in the game they did knight x, and why this doesn't work is rook x. This is a pin, and basically there's nothing to do here. You can't take the bishop, because then I would just save the rook and be up in exchange. And they can't take here, because I would take here and just be up a full piece. So black wins here, but to consider how white could have continued, they would basically need to take on c3, and they would just continue off here after rook x, knight x, and bishop c8, bishop a6, bishop d5, all good moves, and this would continue the game. I hope you guys learned a lot of different nuances. There is a cool part of this game. Turn off the analysis real quick. Basically, rook c3 isn't the best move. It's a very nuanced reasoning why. If you guys want to know the reasoning, I want you guys to just basically tell me next practice, and I'll show you why, or you guys can just put it in your engine, why rook c3 is not the best move. There is a better move for, it did work out in the game for black, but there is a better move. I hope you guys enjoyed this London practice. I hope you guys learned a lot, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.